Ireland versus Greece, the Republic of Ireland versus Greece, and you can see there from the graphic, Greece won the game 2-0. But just before we talk about the actual game, I know you were at the game, Noel, so just as you were around the stadium and just coming in and getting your seat and taking your seat, and you were, I presume, meeting people and chatting to people, what was the general mood before the game?
Hopeful of a win, but looking at the team that we put out and the team that's formed, what more realistic, we think it was going to be a draw. I think most people thought maybe hopefully maybe a 2-1 we might nick it, but there wasn't too much confidence. And you know yourself, with like the form book has been very, very poor. You know, lost home and away to France, lost away to at home to the Dutch, lost away to Greece at the performance in Greece. So we thought at home with that atmosphere, and like there was still 41,000 at the game. I mean, the support couldn't do any more from, and it was just basically like we're more hopeful than it was more hope than expectation, Paul, to be quite honest, because we can only go on what we've seen in the group so far. But my God, we didn't expect the performance we got tonight. I know we're going to go into the performance in a minute, but no, it was more hopeful that we could actually nick a win, be a 2-1, 1-0 win, and then we'll hopefully take our chances. But Evan Ferguson up front, we thought we would at least get one goal and put in some bit of a performance. But no, Paul, it was hopeful that we could nick a win, but it sadly didn't turn out that way.
Yeah. Now again, in the first maybe 5, 6, 10 minutes at max, Ireland team could press forward with a couple of chances. Did we hit the post at one stage or what?
We did. Evan, I think it was Evan Ferguson that just hit the post, and the crowd were getting right behind him. We were doing quite well, but as you said, after the first 5 or 10 minutes, Greece found us out. Really, you know, it's just any time they pressed us up high, we lost the ball, and like after they scored, I know they were just Greece sort of fell back. I said, right, let's come on now and try and break us down. And my God, the stuff that we saw over and back, you know, in the first half, the only ideas we had was get it out wide to Bene. He'll take up a few players on, because he seemed to be double teamed a couple of times, because that was obvious that we kept doing it. There was hardly anything coming down the left wing, so it was out to Bene, and hopefully him and Doherty might create something. Got a few balls into the box, but nothing was really happening. And there's a few misplaced passes, and before, like at the end of this first half, I know it was bad enough going 1-0 down, but the second goal killed the game completely.
That was right, and of course, no, just to clarify, we see that on the graphic, you know, I can't read Greek, but it was just on the stroke of half time, the second goal, which really put the knife in us, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it was a breakaway goal. We gave away the ball very badly, and it was, you know, it just killed the whole atmosphere in the ground. And there wasn't much now at the time, because we were still losing at the time. But any hope we had, any bit of expectation we had, was just died. And then there was a few minutes before the VAR check went up on the screen. We were thinking maybe when the player was he offside or what. We didn't. Obviously, this is the trouble with VAR. I don't know exactly what I was looking for. I thought maybe when the player got the ball that he was gone past the halfway line, because obviously if he's in his own half and he got when the player who set up the goal, that's what we thought we were looking for. We didn't know exactly what they were looking for, but the VAR check was over very, very quickly. So the realization in 2-0, and then the boos started coming. My God, it was probably the loudest the crowd were in the stadium at the time. You know, going in 2-0 down, people were just fed up. It was awful to watch. It was an awful performance in the first half. The second half was even worse, to be fair. But
so we'll go back to the first goal again after 20 minutes. Can you describe that goal?
It was just a Simicast, the Liverpool players down the wing, and good cross at the box, and a free header, Paul. I mean, it was an Irish attack, I think. Benny might give away the ball. I can't exactly remember. But all I remember is the cross coming in, and the Bulls have a header. But it's a free header in the box. And I couldn't, any of the person was sitting beside me, couldn't believe that when a ball into the box like that, free header. I think it was Duffy, was the closest player to him, but there seemed to be no challenge. I mean, to get a free header in the box like that, I thought I wouldn't say what I was going to say, but it was so bad to see. And they ran off. There was a little pocket of Greek supporters. There wasn't many of them there. They were ecstatic with the goal, and after that, then it was like, right, what have we got? And it was just pass over and back, very slow. Very pedestrian. No creativity whatsoever. I mean, midfield was a graveyard, really, to be honest. They tried hard, they tried their best, but the quality just wasn't there on Friday night. I know they can play better.
Sometimes you see in teams who haven't got quality in the middle of the field, they'll hit it straight forward to the forward. Or I don't like to use the word long ball, but they try to be more direct, maybe, probably. Did Ireland try that at all, or what did they keep doing, or what your narrative?
Not really, Paul. Not really, Paul. I mean, Ferguson kept coming deep because he was starved of service all night. And anytime he did get a bit of service, then there was, he had to hold up, and there was a few players around him, and it was just pedestrian, Paul, to be quite honest. Now, there was a few balls maybe down along the wing, maybe, that we tried, and there was times there when we got into the final third. But getting up to the final third wasn't the worst problem, Paul. It was just when we were there, we had so many ideas. Greece were just, 2 bags of 4 along the penalty box. We were going over and over and back, and when we crossed the ball in, it'd be either overhit or it would be easily cleared. Anytime the crosses came in, 9 times out of 10 hit the first man. So it was a really worrying performance, Paul, to be quite honest with you. It's like the performance was so bad. I think it was rock bottom. I think Didier Man said on RT doing the analysis. It was just everything was bad. Bizzuno didn't look comfortable on Friday night. I thought Liam Scales, I think probably was his debut. He looked a bit shaky first half. He looked a bit better first half. He took off Nathan Collins at half time. If we're getting onto the substitutions,
move on. Then,
I think it was the 75th minute between the first substitution, and he brought on Mikey Johnson, he brought on Callum Robinson. But to be fair, the game was crying out for substitutions earlier in the game. And to be honest with you, Paul, after, I would say, 70 minutes in the game, the crowd actually lost interest in the game. And I'm not joking, like there was paper airplanes flying all over the place. There was people literally talking to one another when the game was going on. I was having to have 11 from Dublin, and he was bringing his kids with him, and he was like, he's been to most home and away games, and he said, this is really bad. This is the worst I've seen in a long, long time, he was telling me. And he's seen some bad ones, he told me. So the crowd lost heart. It was so, like, everyone's saying the crowd was flat. The crowd was flat. We had nothing to get behind with. The crowd obviously reacts to what's happening on the pitch, and there was nothing in that second half.
Was there even a half tackle? Maybe it's a bit agriculturally would be called, but sometimes to get the crowd going, a fella go in late, get a yellow card. Was there even any of that?
No, there was nothing. There was no bit of rough and tumble like Roy Keane and Overmars and 0-1 or anything like that. There was no real passion in the second half shown at all. Like that was really worrying. The team was flat. The crowd was flat. But my God, the crowd would give them as much support as they could. But at the end of the day, we had nothing to cheer for. We had nothing to there was nothing being shown on the pitch for us to get behind. And that's why, at the end of the game, then there was, I stated in the game, I never walk out early. I wouldn't do it anyway. But I saw many people leave in the 70 minutes, 71st minute, 80 minutes. I mean, every 5-10 minutes, there was people leaving, and as I said, 41,000. The support is still coming, Paul, but we're getting very short change for our buck. 50 euros for the seat I got to watch the game. It was just.
And I believe the match program was €7. Is that correct?
I didn't even go near the match program, Paul, to be quite honest with you, because it's yourself, it's expensive following and any team, an international team in the Aviva Stadium. You know yourself, even you wouldn't even go near the food or the drinks and stuff. It can be very expensive. So the fans had enough, and I'm sad the way things are turning out. It was worrying what was happening Friday night. It's like it was so forgetful. I'm probably forgetting aspects of the game. Now, I haven't actually watched it back because it's.
Yeah. But no, again, I'm going to make a point. Sorry, that we made last June after the game outside in Greece. Are we, and I mean we in general sense, not just you and me, but in general, the people looking at the game, are we completely underestimating Greece and not giving them any credit whatsoever? That seems to be the whole. And again, I'm not talking about you and me and you individually, but just the whole in last June, completely underestimating Greece, saying that we should be beating them. Maybe Greece are a better team, better players. Maybe, are we underestimating them?
Oh, I think Friday night, Paul, has proven that the home performance they had against us was no fluke. They were, and to be fair, the group stages games that we've had so far, they put up a better performance against France away. They lost to a Kylian Mbappe retaken penalty, 1-0 they lost, very unlucky. Now, I know Holland beat them 3-0, I think it was 3-0 in the end, if I'm not mistaken. But that can happen. Holland and France can beat anybody on their day at home, particularly. Greece are playing Holland, funny enough, tonight. They're 3 points ahead of Holland with a game extra played, but if they win tonight, they go 6 points ahead. The only thing that could derail Greece's chances is that Holland have us at home in the next campaign, in the next the next international window, and they have Gibraltar away. So Greece will probably be looking for maybe a favour off us, but we can't do ourselves a favour at the moment, Paul. So, and plus on the head-to-head record, they might go to that because I think Holland winning 3-0. That might go against Greece. So there's a lot to play for between Greece and Holland tonight, and the next couple of games in the next international window. So Greece are doing what we hoped we would do. You know, beat the nearest opponent to which would be Ireland. That's what Greece have done. They've got a respectable 1-0 loss away to France, which France beat the Dutch at home away there on Friday night as well.
Yeah.
So they're coasting to qualification. And they're going to put up. I think they're going to put up to the Dutch tonight, and possibly get the win, because I think they probably would need the win, because even though it might look very good for them in the table if they do win tonight, well, Greece will allow you have one more game, and that's a home to France.
Yeah.
I
But
believe.
we just talk with individual players, and because you're actually at the game itself, instead from the watching on television or watching or whatever online, you're watching. Technically, are the Greek players
That's
man
right.
for man way better than Ireland?
They were, Paul. They kept the ball so much easier than we did, and whenever Ireland pressed, the Greece players just passed it around us and got out, no problem. They were technically much better than us on Friday night, and they were technically better than us on the game in June, like you said, and the 2-1 that we lost. And by right, Paul, Greece could and should have beaten us 4-1 that night.
Yeah.
2-1
Yes, I know. Just before we move on to the looking forward, just to finish up the second half in. So the second half in, you were saying, and correct me if I'm wrong, it kind of petered out 10-2 defeat. The crowd accepted it. The subs came on late, but no substitution made any difference. Did it almost just peter out? Is that a fair comment?
The game petered out, Paul. I mean, I think Robertson and Jason had one or two chances in the second half, like a shot from long range. Doherty had a chance from a corner. I think that the keeper made a good save. I think he might have cleared off the line, but we weren't peppering the goals by any matter of means, Paul. And Greece by Greece even being sitting back against us, not really having the need to go and attack. I think they had a header in the second half that just landed on the top of the net. I mean, if it was a better header, it would have been 3-0. So, and there was a few half chances, a few crosses into the box from Greece as well that they could have got a third one from. So at the end of the day, Paul, they were looking more likely making it 3-0 than we making it 2-1.
Yeah.
And they were full value for their win.
Yeah. And just to the final whistle, what was the reaction of the crowd?
There wasn't many of us there, Paul, to be quite honest with you. I know I'm not having a go at Kenny and the whole lot, but it was just so flat. There was a few boos. It was an acceptance, Paul. Once the final whistle went, everybody just got their season, got over there as quick as they could. It was frustration. It was sadness, Paul. It was sad the way things were turning out Friday night. I mean, people paying their hard-earned money to go and watch the team, and they want to support the team. But as I said, 41,000 tickets were sold for this game. They're trying. There was busloads. I've seen busloads